All right, man. Towards the top. Back in the studio, baby. You know what it is. How y'all doing, man? I feel so good, man. I feel really good being back in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Work that thing out. Yeah. All right, so look, man. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about DefJam blocking the collaboration of Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar because they were afraid of the backlash. And this is crazy. So before we get into that, you know, I got to get the legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. This is Torture Talk. If you like the channel, man, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is right here. Right here. If you don't see me with the crown in the Cash App, don't send it because I won't get it. You know what I'm saying? They call me the hidden gem. 1,300 subscribers, over 17,000. I'm about to hit the 18,000 mark. I'm happy. I might pop a bottle for it. You know what I'm saying? And I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you are from. So look, man, let's get it. This is going to be a goodie. Torture Talk. All right, man. Thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all for coming here to see the king. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we're about to get to it. Shout out to this guy, Rob Martin, you know what I mean? Markman. He is a really good, he was one of the people, I believe he interviewed Kendrick before. Matter of fact, he did interview Kendrick. And yeah, this guy is pretty good, man. So you already know what to do. So let's get it.
Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman, all right? Now, on Friday, we talked about it, man. We got the first song from the Clipse from their upcoming album that God sorted out. The song was called Ace Trumpets. Talked about it here on Friday. I mean, just a dope song, just an immaculate return for a group that's been...
Now, I want to tell y'all, that song is fire. I didn't get a chance to actually react to it yet, but I am going to. And I'm going to react to the Lil Wayne joint. So those will be coming up. So make sure y'all check out for that. But I want y'all to pay attention to this album cover. This little album cover here.
From the Clipse from their upcoming album that God sorted out. The song was called...
Now, what do y'all see there? Right? What do y'all see? I'm going to tell y'all what I see. I see gloves X'd out, eyes X'd out. Those gloves have 4 fingers. Usually, when gloves have 4 fingers, that's a cartoon. And look at the top where the face is at. It looks like a mouse. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, I'm thinking that they tired of the funny business, but also it reminds me of Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse. And they could be saying that whoever they pointing out could be rats. And I think that that's what that stands for, if you ask my opinion. I'm not saying that this is directed towards Drake, but I am saying that that kind of looks suspicious, in my opinion. So let's keep it going.
Ace Trumpets. Talked about it here on Friday. I mean, just a dope song, just an immaculate return for a group that's been gone for 16 years. Obviously, Pusha's remained solo. Malice went to do his own thing, but the group is now back. The brothers are now back. The album drops July 11th. So today, you know, the rollout begins, right? So today, Pusha and Malice, or not today, but they had previously sat with Fraser Tharp. Shout out to Fraser, man, amazing journalist. They sat with him for GQ. And today, the article published, right? And they talked about the new album. They talked about how it all came together. And they talked about putting it out through Rock Nation. We all saw the picture of them standing in front of the paper plane, signifying that they were now affiliated with Rock Nation. And they talked about one song in particular called Chains and Whips, which features Kendrick Lamar. The internet had been speculating about this song and this feature for a while. We heard a version of the song a couple of years ago during a Louis Vuitton fashion show. Full disclosure, and you know, I was guarding what I said in my last video, but full disclosure, I've heard the entire album. I heard the entire album, but under the circumstances that I heard it, I just didn't feel comfortable talking about unreleased portions of the album. You know, so I knew about the Kendrick feature. I heard the Kendrick feature, and I figured, well, let it play out. Let the Clipse roll out their album how they wish. You know what I'm saying? And then let the fans have their moment. I wasn't looking to like.
Now I'm gonna say this. I don't expect if you heard something. Not I'm just speaking in general. If you heard something, I don't expect you to tell people. I know there's people probably in his comments saying silly shit like, "Oh, bro, you knew about this and you didn't say anything. Why?" Da 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 da. Like, because he ain't a slime ball. That's why. He's not a slimy journalist. That's why. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why y'all would actually think that everybody have to be a slime ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have said nothing. That's just the bottom line. If I got told not to say nothing, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not even going to allude to it. And then after it comes out, then I'll say, yeah, I know about it. I don't care if y'all believe it or not. But still in all, I don't think that he should have said anything. You know what I'm saying? Because he a man of his word. That's what it is.
Break a news story or do anything like that. I believe in, again, in the circumstances of which the album was played for me, it wasn't my place to do it, and it still isn't. But in this GQ article, they talk about it openly, so now it's public knowledge, and we learned something that we didn't know. I learned something that I didn't know reading this article. So originally, the Clipse album that God Sort 'Em Out was supposed to be released by DefJam, where Pusha signed as a solo artist. And didn't come out. Obviously, there with Rock, there was a delay. Def Jam, whose parent company is UMG, didn't like the Kendrick verse, or didn't like the idea of Kendrick having a verse alongside Pusha T. I'm gonna read the passage from GQ, which illustrates this. Again, shout out to Frazier, man, amazing work, man, amazing writer. You know, definitely a friend of mine and somebody who I've been a fan of and who I respect. So
now I can understand why Def Jam, or UMG, not Def Jam, but I can understand why UMG. Now people will say, well, it's the parent company. They kind of got to do what they tell them. Not all the time. I'm sure that they negotiate certain things, even if you're a parent company. I'm sure you negotiate certain things. But I understand why UMG probably said this. Because they're going through litigation right now, and if this was to disrupt it, it would be even bad. So maybe they were saying, maybe UMG was saying, maybe they shouldn't put out the project right now or put out the song right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's much more to it. So let's keep it going.
the passage says, if you expected the album last summer, the brothers sympathized. So did they. Pusha say they felt confident, proud, and assured of themselves when they presented the music to Def Jam. The label loved what they heard, except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on the thunderous Chains and Whips. The final version of the song that Pharrell teased, that's his first LV runway show, and the song Pusha says was the first to come out of their sessions. Don't be fooled by Pusha's interviews appealing for one last guest verse, and the Twitter jokes that he went to a GNX tour date to physically walk Kendrick into the nearest studio. K-Dot's verse, Homework, has been turned in for a while now. So you saw on the internet when Pusha pulled up to Boston, I think it was Gillette Stadium, and they was like, oh man, he's going to get that Kendrick verse. The Kendrick verse had been in place, and that I knew the Kendrick verse had been in place for a long time.
One thing is too, man, I hate when people do that. Like, I hate when people try to act as if like they know what's really going on. Like, oh no, he at that concert. You know why he there? He there to get that verse. Yeah, he gonna pull Kendrick by the collar. Yeah, Kendrick better go because he don't want him on his ass. Yeah, man, Kendrick better go. That's how I feel like that's how y'all be talking to yourselves. Like, bro, I knew that Kendrick Ben did this verse because I heard them talking about it a year ago. They've been talking about this. Some of y'all just jumping on the wagon, don't know, or some of y'all that ain't, I mean, just doesn't care. But they been did this joint. They been did it. They've been talking about this for months and months and months.
So here's the next paragraph. But after a summer of beef between their two biggest artists that resulted in a still ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company, UMG, blanched at the antagonistic optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. First of all, again, shout out to Frazier. I told you, right? Amazing writer. Antagonistic optics. You know what I'm saying? Just as a writer, like, son got bars just in the way he.
I don't know, man. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you say so, if you say that that's good writing, I don't know. Antagonistic optics. I don't know. It's still broken English to me, but it is kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie. Antagonistic optics. Antagonistic Let me say it right like I'm rapping. I said antagonistic. You know what I'm saying? Some words are really, really difficult to say. Antagonistic optics. Say that really fast. You can't say antagonistic fast anyway, because you'll trip up like you fell over a piece of rock on the ground. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think it's pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie. I was just hating. I ain't think of it. That's why.
These articles, but blanched at the antagonistic optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. Pusha calls their apprehension stupid, primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's otherwise excellent verse could really be perceived as a shot or even a subliminal. It does, however, contain the stellar line, "Therapy taught me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck." All right, we're going to go into another passage. Pusha can barely contain his disgust recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. This is Pusha's quote. "They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing," he explains. "And then they wanted me to take the record off. And so after a month of not doing it, Steve Gawley, the lawyer over there, was like, well, we'll just drop the Clipse. But that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go, ... Sure enough, Def Jam..."
That's crazy. Yo, that is crazy. So you dropped the Clipse with Pharrell as the producer, all because Pusha did not want to remove Kendrick's verse. So you dropped them all together? That's crazy. So y'all that much scared of Drake that you literally dropped. Bro, this is crazy, bro. I never seen nothing like this. So you dropped it. Maybe they felt like, well, they ain't gonna be making us no money anyway. And let's just cut our losses. Like, what? Come on, bro.
The Clipse. But that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go, ... Sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release Clipse and drop Pusha as a solo artist, freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished Clipse album and plenty more music in their pockets. Ultimately, Pusha says the endeavor was gratifying. It felt good to even see how other labels were buying for the project. Now, as they teased last week, with the picture in front of the label's plain insignia, they ended up at Jay-Z's Rock Nation, where they feel fully supported and energized. I think that synergy, just in a rap sense, is going to speak volumes, Pusha says of the partnership. And that's the end of the passage, man. Again, shout out to Frazier. This is...
Now, that's kind of fire because everything's lining up perfectly, right? So if this is a shot at Kendrick, which Pusha, I believe he capping. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is a shot at Drake. You know what I'm saying? Not a shot at Kendrick. If this is a shot at Drake, he capping. I think that it's going to be some type of insinuations there where we can pick it apart. Trust me. I don't think that this, even though they saying this was recorded way before this, I think that he was aiming for this dude anyway. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a line in there that we going to say, yeah, he was talking about him. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. But I think that that's really weird that a record label will just basically let you out your whole contract, all because of one man. That's crazy.
This is kind of nuts. You know what I'm saying? To me, and we've been talking about this. This is what I have been alluding to. This is what many have been alluding to with this lawsuit. This is the danger of the Drake UMG lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? It could potentially change how business is done. Look, it's alright. We already have one example of how it changed how business is done. More importantly, changing how business is done, because, you know, I also think the business needs to be revolutionized maybe in other ways than this. But more importantly than that, changes how the art is released. Changes how the art is released. Labels are now, UMG is now scared. And let me be clear, this is 100% on UMG being unwilling to stand behind their artists and their expression. UMG is in the wrong here.
How is that? I totally disagree with that. How is that? Okay, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that UMG is 100% behind Kendrick coming after Drake, but then you say UMG is wrong for basically censoring this song. And then you say UMG is wrong for censoring Drake. It's like what are we talking about here? Like I'm kind of confused on this because UMG is 100% behind Kendrick going after Drake. And they're behind Drake going after Kendrick. Why would you say that UMG is 100% in the wrong because they don't want to support what's the name? When they're in a dispute with one of the artists. If this song, right? And this is the reason why I think that I don't blame UMG. I blame Drake. I don't blame UMG for doing what they do. They have to protect their company and their brand. I don't blame them. You know what I'm saying? If Drake never did this, that song would have came out. That's why I don't blame them. I don't blame them. That's just my opinion. I don't blame UMG because if Drake never put this lawsuit together, UMG would have promoted this song with Kendrick, all the diss songs from Drake, all the diss songs from Kendrick, all the diss songs from Pusha, because they didn't stop the story of Adonis from coming out. So I can't sit here and say that I blame UMG. No, I blame Drake because he's the one that put this whole thing in the turmoil. You saying that, oh, well, they don't support their, I blame them for not backing their artists. Well, what are they supposed to do in this type of situation? What are they supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they supposed to do? Say, well, they're still letting people release music dissing this guy. You know what I'm saying? And I get that point. But at the same time, if they're in a and I think that's the reason why Kendrick Lamar hasn't really dissed Drake again. Because maybe they said, well, wait until after this lawsuit is over. Because this all falls on Drake. This doesn't fall on UMG, in my opinion. It doesn't. So,
for not being willing to stand up for their artists and their expression. But as a culture, at least me, like, I don't expect much from UMG in the terms of culture anyway. When it comes between maybe affecting their bottom line versus true artistic expression, I expect a company like UMG to protect their bottom line, right? But now they're showing us. Now we're seeing examples. This lawsuit has them extra.
But okay, so I agree with you on that. Now, I expect them to protect their company as much as they can. I told y'all before, this is about money. This ain't about how we feel about it. It's about money, and I understand that. But at the same time, I'm looking at it from the point of view of if Drake never did all this, then we wouldn't be talking about this. The battle would have happened, and that'd have been this. This song the Clipse would have never got dropped. The song would have came out. In some ways, I guess Drake did a good thing by doing what he's doing because they got off what they got off.
Cautious, and so they're scared that they would sacrifice dropping dope art. Like nobody says, "Nah, like yo, this an album is fucking dope." Nobody says, "Yo, this album is great." We have to drop the best art over here at UMG. We have to drop the best art over here at DefJam. I mean, and if we're being real, there's not a lot going on at DefJam right now, man. Like if we're being real, and I'm not blaming the staff at DefJam.
And that's one of the major reasons why they probably didn't feel as though they could actually, take the hit on that. Let's just play this out right real quick. Let's say, for example, they did drop the record, and then now Drake adds them into the lawsuit and say, look, he's still doing this. He still got an axe to grind with me. He's still in UMG is allowing Def Jam to do these things. You know what I'm saying? They're not stopping him from doing what he wants to do. I haven't said a word, even though he did. Let's just say, for argument's sake, he did this. They don't have nothing going on over there. It would even be worse if that was to happen. And listen, I'm not saying that it's okay for them to block a song. I'm not saying that. I am saying that if you do have to understand the position that a lot of these labels are in because of this guy. That's all I'm saying. And I don't blame them for doing what they have to do because of him. Because in my opinion, if he never did what he had to do, none of this stuff would have happened. It would have never happened. So
this seems to be above their heads, but this would have been a real win for the label that has history in this, right? Def Jam hasn't, like, in a couple of years, really had historic, you know what I'm saying, like hip hop wins, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. So I've heard the verse many times. Rewind it back, I've read the lyrics. And without giving too much away, again, because I want the fans to have their moment, I want this to be rolled out the way that the Clipse want it to be rolled out. What I can say is, now that this information is out there, and what I know is the verse is less of a diss and more of a state of the union.
if you said that you read the lyrics, where did you read the lyrics at? Did they send it to you? Like, I want to read the lyrics. Where did you read it at? I want to read the lyrics before the song comes out. But either way, let's see what he's saying about it.
What I can say is, now that this information is out there, and what I know is the verse is less of a diss and more of a state of the union. That's the best way I can describe it. After one of the most wild years that hip hop has ever seen, Kendrick just kind of gives it a state of the union. Here's where we are now. Here's where I am now. Here's where we are now. Here's where I am now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best way I describe it. And if it was up to UMG, we wouldn't hear it. At least not on their label. And it wasn't even the content of the verse that scared them. If you read the passage, it wasn't even necessarily the content of the verse. It was the optics, according to the GQ article. It was the optics of Kendrick and Pusha on the same song.
I mean, I can't blame UMG for that. I can't blame them for that, because they don't have history of doing this. The history is what Drake has done. Now they are working on eggshells when it comes to this stuff. I don't think that it's their fault from blocking the song. I just don't. I don't think it's their fault, knowing that they're going through this litigation that they're going through. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. And if they saying, you just said that it was more about the optics. But then they literally said they wanted him to censor the record. So obviously there's something in there that they think can go against their lawsuit. You just said that. Now you're saying, not you, but the guy who wrote it is saying it's the optics. You know what I'm saying? The people seeing them together. But but you said that they wanted that Pusha said they said to change the record, and he said no. So there's something in there that they think would actually be detrimental to their case. So I don't blame them for doing what they did. I blame Drake. If Drake never did this, none of this would have happened. Because guess what? Pusha T released the story of Adidon, and they did not stop him. That's why I'm saying I can't say, well, I blame UMG, because UMG don't have a history of actually blocking diss tracks or songs that they think will hurt someone or hurt them in a case.
Two guys that Drake has had beef with, two guys that in recent years have released diss tracks against Drake, two guys who have in recent years have bested Drake in the battle. Pusha with Story of Adidon, Kendrick with his plethora of records, ending with Not Like Us. So they're just scared of the optics, and because there's this lawsuit looming, and they don't want to chance it. And again, I blame.
So what would you do if you were a company? like what would you say? You blame them for not standing behind their artists, but that's not the case, because they usually do that. They usually stand behind their artists. So this time they supposed to say, you know what? Nah, let's just let it happen. And then he uses it against them. Like, come on, man. Like, no, I totally disagree with that. I just do. I'm sorry. I think that they made the right call. Now them going over there to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z could put it out. They can't be stopped putting it out now. There you go. It's nowhere to stop it. But I think Pusha made the right call, and I think they made the right call. I think they said, you know what, we can't put this out right now because of this. And he said, nah. And they said, well, they compromised with him, according to y'all. Censor the verse. No, I'm not censoring the verse, which I wouldn't have censored the verse either. No way. No. And guess what? Bam. Now, I understand. Don't think I'm stupid or dumb. I understand what he's saying when he says that they should have supported the artist. I understand. Just like you supported Kendrick, just like you supported Drake, you should support the artist. But my counter argument to that is they are in litigation. They are going through a case, and they're trying to get it dismissed. This could disrupt that proceeding. That's my position. And it's not their fault, it's Drake's fault, because they don't have a history of blocking diss records, at least that we don't know of. You know what I'm saying? So, but
UMG for this. But going back to Drake, when we talk, that is the danger of this lawsuit. That is the danger of this lawsuit. The effects that it can have on the art, how rappers now express themselves, how we engage in competition with each other, which is a part of hip hop, can now be changed on a major label level because Drake decided to launch this lawsuit and put Not Like Us square in the middle of what this is. It's dangerous, and it sets a crazy precedent that can change things. And that's what I've been saying this whole time. And I know there's some people who get me. There's some people who are like, well, you whatever, UMG was, sided with Kendrick and Drake and like. To those who didn't get what I was saying, basically what I'm saying. To those who didn't get what I was saying before, this is a result of it. This is how like weird shit can get as a result of this lawsuit.
All right. I mean, for all of those, I get what he's saying, But I don't understand how. I mean, I understand that it's a slippery slope for UMG. And I know people would say, well, how are you standing with the machine? Truth be told, the machine is trying to stop, whether it's for money purposes or whether it's for whatever reason they have, but they're trying to stop the actual changing of the music industry, and they have to police. So honestly, they are going against themselves in a way, if you think about it, because they're sitting here saying, well, instead of us, we're going to get him to dismiss this, because if he doesn't and he wins, now we have to tell y'all what y'all can rap about and what y'all can't rap about. And we're not trying to do that. I mean, do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree that UMG should be allowed to tell people what they can and can't do with music? Or do y'all believe that UMG is actually saying, let's just get this case dismissed and keep business going as usual? Because this ain't about bots. This ain't about payola. This ain't about none of that. This is about the wording and of a song that has been released that Drake does not like, and he felt that though he has been defamed and his feelings was hurt. His character was besmirched, defamation of character, all of that stuff. That's what he feels like. So if y'all agree that UMG blocking that song because they are afraid that that might happen to be used against them in the court of law that Drake actually put up against them, then I don't know what to say. If that's what y'all believe, I'm saying that I understand why DefJam and UMG blocked the song or didn't want the song to come out under them, because of the proceedings that they're going through right now. I don't understand how y'all don't see that. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying I understand why. That has nothing to do with whether I believe the song is fire or not. I believe they all made the right decision, and now the song is going to come out and it can't be blocked. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it was a good thing that they didn't release the song over there, because now UMG is not affected or won't be affected, and Kendrick won't be affected, and that's it. But let's be clear here. This is Aubrey, not Aubrey Graham's fault. Aubrey Drake Graham, Jimmy in the wheelchair fault. This is his fault. We could try to dance around it. We could try to walk on eggshells. I don't know. It's easy to say that it's the company's fault. But no, this is the disgruntled employee who's trying to take the company down. It's his fault. Not the company. Company policy has been what it is. It's just a disgruntled employee. Yo, I'm suing you, bro. I'm suing. And that's what it is. All right, man. So I'm going to give my inspiration speech of the day. Learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. Don't always compromise. Don't always give your best. Don't always say yes. Learn how to say no. Because there are times when you want to say no and you just go along with everybody saying. Don't do that. If you want to say no, just say no. Simple as that. That's it. Just say no. Don't always give what you don't have. If you don't have, don't give it. I don't have it. No. That's it. And things will be fine. All right, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.